Well, there's your problem.
Fat tires on a pit bike? Why? Well, to put it simply, it's an engineering task and I'm not just stopping there. So stay tuned. If you haven't already, just click the little bell icon. You'll be notified every time I release a build video. Okay, let's get started. So I'm starting off with a 125 pit bike. It's road legal, but it's a pit bike. I wanted it to be road legal for one big reason. I don't have trailers and I don't want to trailer the thing around. I want to be able to just get on, go for a ride and go where I need. So I need the thing to not be able to get stuck. That's where the fat tires are going to come in. And I just want to give it a nice restyling. So let's get into it. Well, here's the bike. So you'll notice right off the bat, 125 air-cooled motor, Mikuni carb, made in Japan. I'm not sure if they come stock like this, so we're going to strip this carb and make sure the carb is right, but definitely a Mikuni carb is the right way to go on this. One thing I'm sure we're going to be changing is where the chain sits. This is going to be 2 in for that nice fat back tire that we're planning to put on. You'll see this is quite skinny, so we're quite excited to go nice and big there. Okay, remember this is a fully road legal pit bike, so we will have all our turn signals, number plates, the whole lot, still going back onto the bike, but she's going to be a whole lot bigger. So it's currently got a plastic gas tank with a seat setup. I actually wanted to show you guys, just unbolted that. We'll actually be fabricating a whole rear end here, nice and wide, bigger seat, different tank, just change that whole aesthetic. What's our goal for today? Today, we're going to strip this carb, make sure that's right, put in a new battery. This battery is just poked, it's an old battery now. We'll do that, make sure it's not leaking any oil, anything like that. Fix it if it is, doesn't look like it though. Make sure it's running right. First thing I check before fitting a battery, I make sure that positive is where the positive should be. So in this case, red is on the right, positive is on the right. Make sure this is right, otherwise you can potentially damage things. Hey, what do you know? Okay, so we got a pit bike. Road legal, but a pit bike. What do we do next? Well, you won't believe what's here. And there we have it. Our huge tires. Front and back. I'm happy with engine, transmission, that sort of stuff's going to be fine. We've made sure she's running. First thing I'm going to do, pull the swing arm off and try and see, boom, if that's gonna fit. I don't think you guys realize how big these tires and rims are for our pit bike. But that's the next plan. So we're gonna try see, and this is big, guys, this is properly big. Let's do this. Just for a little size comparison. That is my Tenere 660's Z's back tire. Here we have our stock tire. Just for a little bit of comparison here, which is the so-called supermotard tire. And there's our next tire. Just a little size comparison. So obviously, if this had to mount where the old one was in terms of distance, there just wouldn't be any space. However, we do have the bigger swing arm that will go to that same point. So that will sit quite a bit further out from the old mudguard. It's going to give us quite a good wheelbase. Whew! That's our height advantage we'll be gaining. So let's get the swing arm off. Okay, I think it's safe to say there's a slight size difference between these two tires. This is where it gets exciting. So the current bolt holes aren't going to work, so we'll actually have to weld up something, fabricate something that goes on top here that will hold our rear swing arm, but that's no problem. We still got our sort of foot brake there, which we might have to modify. I'm not sure how we're doing braking just yet, but overall it's not looking too bad. Okay, so at this point we can see the old mount there. You can see the new mount a lot thinner in comparison, but that's not an issue. I will be welding up. Rather than cutting this box off, changing it, I'll do something that will actually bolt to this. That would be the easiest, but other than that, it's gonna look like a different bike. That's really gonna look like a different bike. I've mounted the square bar just on the back of the sprocket, leveled it out so if you push it there's actually no slop there, which should give us an indication as to where our chain's going. So if you follow it up, you can actually see how far off the shaft it will be. There is about a 50mm difference between the front sprocket and the rear sprocket. When you show your best mate the tire you want to use, and mood is the answer, you're in Africa. Here I've just taken some measurements. Let's get right into some fabrication. So I'm going to do two sort of box sections. This first box section will come here. It will mount through the original hole, and it will use this pin as a locating pin so that it can't rotate. That should sort that. In the second section, whoops, being this section here, we'll take this, fabricate it well to the back of this one, and from there we'll be able to bolt the axle
through this point. This point, or rather this bar, isn't the right thickness for it, so it's just going to be a spacer. So when we're bolting these two sides together and we're pulling on them, we're not bending.
My body, join the flow.
Okay, we've got this brace that's firmly secured to the frame. That's the old shaft, or whatever you would call it, that's going through there. And this pin where the roller used to go on, that's what I'm using to locate. You'll see it's got a little notch out of it. And then on the swing arm side, we've got the same sort of square bracket that's fitting in between. What I'll do next, this actually needs to come in line with this. It's going to bring that up a little bit, so we're a little bit closer to the shock. And from there, we'll reinforce this, and then we're ready to mount.
My body, join the flow.
So where are we now? Okay, rear swing arm is mounted, not finalized but mounted. Rear shock we'll sort out once we know the ride height of the vehicle. Next step is to hop onto the front. And we're going big. And with the bigger front end comes other engineering challenges. We're talking new triple clamps, which by the way I'm gonna have to machine because this tire's it's too big. So new triple clamps, new front suspension, new rear suspension as well. So stick around for part 2. Thanks for the support, guys.